providing affordable rental units for homeless kids and families. So that was another really important piece of feedback that we got. Folks also talked a lot about parental support services, the need to make sure that we're looking at rural issues and regional issues here in Georgia and not trying to have a one-size-fits-all approach, because that doesn't make sense. And people also mentioned healthcare access, both physical health and mental health. And so I just wanted to talk about some of the recommendations. You'll probably see a lot of what you wrote in these and maybe learn what some other folks wrote as well. But for the specific recommendations, when we asked for them in the three different categories that the campaign is targeting, under the public awareness section and feedback, a lot of people asked for the campaign and other organizations serving homeless kids and families here in Georgia to tell stories about who you're serving and who we're trying to work with and whose lives we're trying to improve. That stories were really key, and that data also is key to educating the public. And many, many people suggested PSAs and other ways to get information out in a broad way. A lot of people talked about, under both the public awareness section and the state policy section, identifying champions, not only legislators and elected officials who could champion the issue, but public figures who could influence things broadly here and help educate the public. And we had a lot of talk about coordinating with different systems so that there's less silos, and looking at the legal system and the court system to make sure that decisions being made there are not increasing homelessness for kids and families and other individuals, looking at the corrections system, the foster care system, mental health, and job training systems, and making sure that they make sense for what's going on in reality here in Georgia so that it's not contributing to the problem. And we had some interesting conversations yesterday afternoon about how to do that with the job training skills and in the prison system and stuff like that. We also talked, a lot of the feedback on the surveys talked about educating elected officials and getting them involved. And many people specifically recommended concentrating on those officials who have jurisdiction over the budget, naturally, and talked also about how to make policy change and how several people encouraged the campaign to do something that was small and easy to win as far as policy goes here in Georgia with the elected officials, and to then build upon that as we go forward. As far as the question about how to share and identify best practices, repeatedly folks asked for more training, continued dialogue, more conferences. So this is great that we're here again today with the Georgia Alliance. And when we asked who should be included in the conversation, by far and away we had the feedback that consumers should be included in the conversation, that the faith community, frontline staff, and grassroots organizations are key, along with schools and the housing developers and property managers around the state. So we got a lot of really great feedback, a lot of really great ideas, and we're really appreciate that from everyone. And another theme that came up throughout people's questionnaires and their feedback was the 3 themes that are up here, which we're doing today: collaborating, networking, and sharing, and the desire for continued collaboration, networking, and sharing regionally and throughout the state. Where it came from, and then we'll talk about how we go forward to get your feedback to improve it. And and we'll reach the top with your feedback and ideas. So we just wanted to do a similar brainstorming and breakout session that we did yesterday, but to really take the ideas that you had yesterday and look at the plan and think about what I had just summarized for you, and if there's other ideas that I didn't summarize that you think are important, think about all those ideas and look at the plan and see, make sure they're included, make sure this plan actually resonates with you, and think about what's missing. And think about, as Catherine said, are there additional organizations that could be involved in managing and implementing it? And are there additional strategies and actions that you would recommend? So we'll take about 10 to 15 minutes now for you to discuss this with your colleagues at the tables, for you to actually literally write on the draft plan, edit it, change it, add to it. Give us all your feedback so that we can then use it as we go forward. And we will circulate, my colleague Katie Volk and Catherine and I will circulate around the room in case you have questions or want to chat about anything. And then we'll regroup in a few minutes and do some more discussions. Yeah, I sent to Catherine before I read this. I read through everybody's. And then I totally crashed because I got overwhelmed.